This problem relies on the fact that how quickly you can identify which data structure to use. So let's see what we can do about it. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. First, I will explain you the problem statement and we'll look at some sample test cases. Going forward, we will start with a brute force solution and see why that is not desirable. After that, we will move towards an efficient solution and then also do a dry run of the code so that you can understand and visualize how all of this is actually working in action. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's try to make sure that we understand the problem statement correctly. In this problem, you are given two strings where one of them represents jewels and the other represents stones. So the basic idea of this problem is that you have a bunch of stones with you, correct? And all of these stones are represented by this string. So a small a is a stone, a capital A is a stone, B is a stone, right? And amongst all of these stones, some of these stones are actually jewels. So what are these jewels? These jewels are represented by the first string. So a small a is a jewel and a capital A is also a jewel. So given these two strings, you have to determine that, okay, how many of the stones that you have are actually jewels, right? So let us look at our first test case. In our first test case, I can see that I have two jewels, right? A and a capital A. And just check out your second string. These are all of the stones, right? Out of all of these stones, which are jewels? So this small a is a jewel, this capital A is a jewel, and this capital A is a jewel again. So how many jewels did you find? You found a total of 3 jewels, right? So for the first test case, 3 will be your answer. Similarly, let us look at our second test case. In a second test case, I only have one jewel and that is a small g. And what are the stones I have? I have all the capital G's as the stones. Notice that in this problem, these characters are case sensitive. So in a second test case, you cannot find any small g in your stones, right? And hence there are no jewels at all. So for your second test case, 0 will be your answer because you cannot find any jewels over here. If you feel that the problem statement is clearer now, feel free to pause the video and try the problem once again on your own. Otherwise, let us dive into the solution. A good developer always try to come up with a brute force solution first, because that is how you can make your interviewer sure that you have understood the problem statement correctly. You can always optimize the problem moving ahead, correct? So given this sample test case, how do you proceed ahead with a brute force solution? So try to think of this problem in the most naive way possible. Let us say that you have a bucket of stones, right? So how do you determine that how many of these are jewels? What will you do? You will take up one stone at a time and then check, hey, is this a jewel? If yes, you will keep it in your jewel box. And if it is a stone, you will keep it in your stone box, correct? So you take up each of these stones one by one and then check, hey, is this one a jewel? Is this one a jewel? If yes, just increment your jewel counter. So what do? You start with the first character and that is A. You check if A present in my jewels, a small a is present, right? So you increment the counter by 1. Now what you will do is you will move your pointer to the next location and this time you are pointing at a capital A, right? Once again you check, is a capital A present in my jewels? Yes, right? So you will increment your counter, your jewels to 2, correct? Similarly, you will keep on moving ahead and then you're gonna increment your counter as you move ahead. Once you reach the end of the string, you have determined that, okay, these are the total number of jewels I have, right? And this solution works. It will give you a correct answer every time. But do you see the problem with this approach? In this approach, what are you doing? You are taking each character one by one and then trying to compare it in the jewels. So for every character, you will see that, hey, is a small b present? Then move ahead, hey, is a small b present? Then you move ahead, hey, is a small c present? Then you move ahead, capital C. Is a capital C present? So you see, you are doing so many checks, right? And this will end up taking a lot of time. So definitely you need to find a better approach. And that is why I said in the beginning, this problem is all about identifying which data structure to use. So what do you do about it? Once again, I have my sample test case with me, correct? In a previous approach, what were we doing? We took each of the character one by one and then we were comparing that, hey, is my character present in the jewels, right? And to compare, you had to iterate through this entire string again and again, right? And this was taking a lot of time. So try to think what data structure can help you to look that, hey, is a character present in some set. That means you need to take the help of a hash set. So what I'm going to do over here is I will create a hash set that will store all of my possible jewels. So I create a hash set, and in this set I will add all of the jewels that I have. So I have a small a, I have a capital A, and then I have a small c, right? These are all of my jewels. Now try to iterate over your string stones, and you will check that, hey, is my character present in my set? If yes, just increment your counter by 1. So I found a small a, I incremented by 1. Move ahead now. You see a capital A. A capital A is also present, so your counter becomes 2. Move ahead, you see a capital A once again. This is once again present, so you increment your counter by 1 again. Similarly, you will keep on moving ahead. B is not there. Then you see a C is present. So once again, you increment your counter. You have a small c again. And this is how you are iterating through your entire string. Correct? Once this is done, just calculate its count, and this will be your answer. This way, we were able to take the help of a hash set data structure to quickly arrive at a solution. And that was all the main crux that was required in this problem. Now, let us quickly do a dry run and see how it is working in action. On the left side of your screen, you have the actual code to implement this solution. And on the right, I have my sample strings, jewels and stones that are passed in as an input parameter to the function num jewels and stones. Oh, and by the way, this complete code and its test cases are also available in my GitHub profile. You can find the link in the description below. Moving on with the dry run. What is the first thing that we do? The first thing is we create a set. And this set is a character set that will contain all of my different jewels. What I will do is I will iterate over all of my characters in jewels and add it to this set. Once this loop is over, I have added a capital A, and a C in my hash set. Now, all you need to do is just iterate over every character of this string stones. So in my next loop, I iterate over every character that is present in my second string. And if this character is found, I just increment this count score. So once this loop iterates over every character in this string, the score will be calculated, and ultimately you will have your answer as 5. And then you are simply gonna return it, right? The time complexity of this solution is order of n, where n is the length of the string stones, and the space complexity of this solution is order of m, where m is the length of the number of jewels that you have. I hope I was able to simplify the problem and its solution for you. As per my final thoughts, I just want to say that problems like these are very simple to solve, right? But just make sure that when you're encountering these problems in an interview, make sure that you handle all the edge cases correctly. Ask your interviewer about all the specific details. For example, over here, a small a and a capital A are considered as two different jewels, right? So you are case sensitive. So just ask your interviewer all of these questions, that do I have to be case insensitive, or what are the different characters possible? Just follow them all and then form your solution. That way your interviewer will be happy that you are considering all of the different scenarios a problem can be asked in. So while going through this video, did you face any problems? Or have you seen any other such problems which are working on the same concept? Tell me everything in the comment section below, and it will be helpful for anyone else also who is watching this video. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. I will be back with more such problems to help you out. Until then, see ya.